Okay, so today I'm going to be playing Galarian Moltres with Zoroark, see how this goes. It's a really powerful deck that I recently went over in a short of mine, and it's very good because it can pretty much beat any deck in the whole game because you can hit for weakness in your single prize deck, which is just so powerful. You see we got a mediocre starting hand here. I'm not complaining about it, but we could have better as well. And we see we are against what looks like Malamar, but we see we have the Weezing in this opening hand, which is really powerful. We're just going to want to get a Zoroark as quickly as possible. We know they have no gusting options, essentially. And we got a Battle VIP Pass, which is something really powerful in this deck as well. So I'm really loving that. Looks like we didn't prize any Zoroarks. Any of our Cinccino pieces, really amazing. We prized an attacker, I think. Honestly, it's pretty confusing with this deck, remembering all the attackers. Actually, no, we didn't prize any attackers, so prize card's super solid this game. Just want to get down this Minccino and this Zorua. So all we need is to hit an Evo Incense on our turn, or a Zoroark. I'm going to want to attach this Twin Energy so we can go into Zorua on our next turn. Really interesting thing about this matchup, honestly, is the fact that we can really just do a ton of different things, but the Weezing just shuts them out. We can even attack with the Zoroark itself, which is really interesting and pretty funny, honestly. Zoroark, of course, does 70 damage for 2 colorless. We can just do the Twin Energies, which is really amazing because now we can just get the KO with weakness. They have 120 HP with a dark type weakness, so that's a great option. We obviously have Moltres. That's pretty much always overkill. We see them playing Battle VIP Pass as well, which is interesting. I suppose this might not be Malamar. But I'm pretty sure what I saw. Yeah, it was Malamar. Wanted to double check. Battle VIP Pass is really interesting in the deck. I guess it makes sense because you can discard it with Call for Family, but at the same time, it's not a Rapid Strike card to add to the damage because Rapid Strike Malamar's attack, Rapid Strike Tentacles, if you don't know. You reveal any Rapid Strike Pokemon from your hand and shuffle them back into your deck. It does 40 per card. You see them playing Manaphy as well, so a lot of interesting cards here. And Cynthia's Ambition, allowing them to draw till they have 5 or draw till they have 8, assuming one of their Pokemon was knocked out last turn. Okay, so really good there. Got ourselves a Cinccino, and I'll just use Professor's Research to get rid of this hand. I suppose I could try to keep the Dark Energy because the Dark's what we need to attack, but I imagine we'll be able to draw back into that. I suppose there's certainly a chance we don't. We didn't hit it right here. That should be okay. I'll get rid of a different attacker, honestly. Probably this Flapple that just gets the KO. Not this turn, but in later turns, it should definitely be able to get us the KO pretty easily. Could even get a Wormadam, but can't imagine that's getting the KO. So I'll grab this Flapple. Gonna get rid of that with Make Do. We want to see how much we can see. Obviously looking for that copy of the Dark Energy. We can go in with another attacker there if we have to. Something like the Fighting type Wormadam will actually get the KO. For some reason I thought they had a lot more HP. Wormadam Fighting type will easily get the KO though, so that's fine. And we actually got 3 Cinccinos set up turn 2, which is really amazing. You see how powerful this engine can be when you're really pushing it. So this is a really good position we're in. And we did hit the Dark Energy. So I'll be going in and using the Weezing here to start shutting down the Minccino. Obviously, we don't get the KO on our turn, but what's really great against Cinccinos and Minccinos, as well as the Salbos to Drizzles, is that you actually get the KO going into my own turn. And once they evolve, because they have 40 HP on them, I'll hit them again. They essentially have 50 HP left, the 50 that Cinccino has, but they already have 40 on them. So I poison them again, and they'll die going back into my turn again. Of course, they still can KO us here if they have something like a Scoop Up Net in combination with a number of Rapid Strike cards and the energy, but let's be honest, they're not going to have that. They haven't done that much this game. They do have the net, but I'm still not scared. They need... if they have research, I might be a little scared, but honestly, I'm not super scared. Yeah, of course, energy research they'll see a bunch of cards and probably get the KO, but we'll have an easy response KO. Okay, research, that's scary. Not the scariest thing in the world. They don't have any dig power with the Cinccino, which is really great for us. They've wasted this bench spot with the mana fee. They don't have any Remoraid in play. Looks like they probably have the KO this turn. That's okay. I can go in the KO with something like probably just a Zoroark on my turn. See them go for Evo Incense. That's fine. But they don't have any Inkays in play for next turn. They don't have any Remoraid for the Artillery. So they get the Inkay down. Rapid Strike Tentacles. So all these cards in their hand. Rapid Strike Pokemon. They need 4. So I imagine they'll have it. No, okay, so they don't have it. They just go in for this Artillery, which is honestly not very good for them. So we can get rid of this Altaria here. I'm going to look to take the KO this turn. Want to start doing at least something. Weezing doesn't have as good a math on something like Malamar as it does on some of the other cards, like the Mana Fee, the Inkay itself, and the Cinccinos. So that's fine. I can just Bird Keeper into Zorua and just go in with Zoroark here. Flapple's not doing enough. Fighting Wormadam's not doing enough either. So Zoroark itself should be fine. I'll play down this other Zoroark in case they do something like Marnie me. They pretty much never play Marnie. That's fine. Just get the KO with weakness there. Honestly, might have caught them off guard, but we get that, which is really nice. We also have the option of going for Altaria next turn. We are down one of our 2 Bird Keepers. The other might be prize, not sure, but we're in a decent spot. And against a single prize deck, a lot of decks can struggle against Malamar. If you're playing something like Eternatus, you can lose because you can just lose the prize trade. Same thing with a deck like Mew, Arceus. But because we're a single prize deck and we can control the game with something like Weezing, we have Boss, we have this really powerful engine. They are playing pretty much the same engine as us, but because we have a nice engine and we can shut their engine off, we can get ourselves in these really favorable positions. The only thing that this deck is maybe lacking is some kind of spread, but overall, Zoroark's really powerful with all the various attacks it has. And we see them struggling with these Battle VIP passes as well. Obviously not doing anything right now. It puts 2 basics onto their bench, but that's it right now. We see them grab them a Remoraid. So they're setting up their engine now, especially because they're not under lock of the Weezing. But at some point we can just set that up again. I imagine they'll get a response KO, but they do need another energy. They only play 6, and they're down 1 so far, and their Ordinary Rod. They may play 2 Ordinary Rod, but they do have Fog Crystal for the energy, so I'm assuming we're going down here. We only have 120 HP, so they need 3 Pokemon. Let's see. Yeah, they got Malamar, a couple of Queen's Focus, so they got us there. That's fine. I will send up the Weezing again. No, I'll send up the Zoroark. Ideally, I would be able to get myself a Boss's Orders, probably go after the Remoraid. They could have Tower Waters just to escape that, though. So I'll send up Zoroark no matter what. I could just take the KO with Zoroark itself, which isn't half bad. I'm going to Evo Incense, try to get our deck as small as possible. So don't want to deck out here, but I don't think that's going to happen. So looking for the Zorua. Just want to make sure we don't run out of Zoroark, because we can run out of attackers in this matchup. We got to go to the Wormadam. So we see we don't get the Zorua. That's okay. We are down only 1 energy and 1 basic energy. So I don't really want to dig too much further. I'll get rid of this Evo Incense, though. I really do want to see the Zorua this turn. Okay, we don't. We see Boss Orders, which is nice. If we dig much more, honestly, we might deck out. So we'll just play a Klara here. Get back some cards. Get back the Zorua and Zoroark, as well as Dark Energy. We are down 1 Moltres as well, which might have to be our late game option, which is pretty nerve-wracking, but we should be okay here. we'll just get the KO with Night Days again, which is fine. I suppose our last prize might be with something like a boss's orders on their Manaphy or something, but right now we're just hoping we can continue this steady flow of prizes, and if we do, we'll win the game. So that's really good. Really unfortunate that they had this scoop up net there earlier to escape our Weezing. Looks like they're getting the KO. I imagine seeing an Octillery here, and they'll be digging for that Cynthia's Ambition if they don't already have it, because they usually do play for that Ordinary Rod. So yeah, it looks like they do have Cynthia's Ambition. They're covering Inkes and Psychic Energy. So obviously they have a lot of recovery in their deck, and we don't. We just have, well, I suppose we have the same amount. We have a couple of Klaras. They have a couple of Ordinary Rods, but they're able to manage their resources better in these drawn-out games because they have a powerful engine. But in addition to the engine, they also have attackers that can kind of motivate themselves. Zoroark's usually all in. This big guy dealing big damage. We're kind of toning it back using Night Days to attack, but overall in a kind of sketchy position. We should be able to attack with 2 more Zoroarks, hopefully the Moltres, and then hopefully we see another Klara to attack with another Moltres, or we can go for a KO with the Galarian Weezing, but at that point we could definitely just kind of lose. Of course, they need to be careful of their attackers as well. They should be okay, as they're just able to KO our Zoroark every turn, but it's certainly possible they lose. So we're going to send up this Zorua, which is fine. We really don't want to deck out here. Obviously, that's really bad. Gonna go into the Zoroark again. Gonna use a Twin Energy as well. I kind of want to attack with the Flapple next turn. That seems really powerful. We could also use the Wormadam. That should be fine. Right now, though, we just need to find a way to get a KO here. Honestly, we could go after an Inkay with a baby Zorua, which is really funny because we do KO that guy. I imagine we'll have enough turns, so if we use Make Do once or twice here, we should be okay. I'm going to go ahead and lay down this Galarian Moltres as a powerful attacker here. Definitely will be enough on the turn we need it. So that's fine. We'll go in with another Night Days for a KO here. Obviously really close, but I think we'll be able to pull this off. Pretty stressful, though. You see these single prize matchups are pretty interesting, going back and forth between our different attackers. Obviously, they just have one attacker. Malamar is a pretty simple, straightforward deck. They can attack with Cinccino, and we see they have Psychic Energy in the discard, so they can accelerate energy with Cinccino's Energy Assist attack, but usually not something you're looking to do with this deck. We are down almost all of our energy now, though. We just have 1 Darkness Energy left, which I believe is in our deck. Not 100% sure, though, so pretty sketchy there. So looks like we're willing to take our last KO with Galarian Weezing, unfortunately, but we should be able to win this. Of course, they won't miss a beat, let's be honest. If we miss a beat, they're going to win, unless we are able to gust up something like the Manaphy with the Galarian Weezing and win the game from there. Though I imagine they're probably holding on to something like a Tower Waters. The deck's pretty small, so they should be able to access that, assuming that they play it. The only way that we are able to win this is if they don't play Tower Waters and we get that up, or they just don't have it in their hand prepared, but I imagine they will. So, Remoraid, Kaminas, and Spiral. Playing it pretty safe here by them, which makes a lot of sense, but right now, I'm going to go send up Moltres. Got a KO here. That's really nice. We got another boss's orders, which is pretty cool. This Professor's Research, we're never using that. I'll grab myself the Zorua. We actually don't have the Dark Energy in deck. Prized a Klara as well. So we'll realistically need to rip one of those off the prizes here, or else we won't really be able to win. I'll play down the Zorua, though. We have enough resources. We don't need to draw more with Cinccino, so we'll just take a massive KO here with the Galarian Moltres. The Fiery Wrath hitting weakness there is pretty funny. Big chunk of damage. We got Pal Pad, which is... I'm not loving it. It's pretty scary. We can, sorry, we didn't have 2 Clairs in the, or 1 Clair in the prizes. We have them both in the discard, which is actually okay. We can just Pal Pad those back in and hopefully draw into them. So that's fine. If we don't draw into it, that's pretty bad, but we're pretty much guaranteed. We could use all 3 of our Cinccinos, but then, well, at that point, we'll just deck out, so then we lose. But assuming that doesn't happen, we should be able to win this game. Get ourselves the Zoroarks back, and we can just win the game with 2 copies of Flapple, or 2 attacks with Flapple, I should say. We only play 1 copy in the deck, but you can obviously reuse it over and over with Zoroark. We see them actually digging really deep into their deck as well. They're using Cinccino every single turn. They don't have an Inkay down as well, which is kind of awkward for them that you get it down. That is actually their last Inkay. They played 2 Ordinary Rods, so if we KO out the Malamar and the Inkay, though, we will have won the game, so it doesn't really matter. But they're digging into their last resources, trying to get this. And Rapid Strike Tentacles, going to get the KO, I'm assuming. Yep, they got Karinas and a Remoraid. They do have all 4 Karinas focused still in deck, though. If they play 4, they might not play 4 because they play so many Research and Cynthia's Ambition. But assuming they do play the 4, then that's fine. Go Pal Pad. Put the 2 Klara back in deck. I'm actually going to check if we can search anything out now. So we just need to draw into the Klara. Should be pretty easy, but still we need it this turn. Yep, we got it. So gonna recover the Zorua and the Zoroark, as well as the 2 Darkness Energy. And now we have game. There's not really anything they can do about it. They could Gust, I suppose, but that's it. And just Phantom Transformation into, not the Altaria, well, Phantom Transformation into the Flapple. They got 4 guys on their bench with an ability, so they'll be doing a massive 200 damage. Some matchups, that's obviously not enough against like VMAX decks, but yeah, we see them now that we have a checkmate position. They're going to scoop the game up, and you see how we can win, even against single prize decks, which is hard for a lot of weird counter decks.